Hello, everybody, and welcome. A lot quicker than we anticipated, but we're live for the Walsh Runowski. I think that's how you say it. Watch along. Liam Tully and Jay's Fight Talk of the No Punches Pulled podcast with me, boys. How are we?
All good, mate. Yeah, good to get a bit of action before 10 o'clock on a Friday night.
Yeah, I'm loving that. Well,
like the UFC, mate. I mean, you got the UFC graphics, you got UFC ring announcer when it's not Bruce Buffer. It feels like a UFC card just with boxing gloves on.
Right, let's do my dogs, mate. I'm in the kitchen tonight, boys. So my dogs might make an appearance.
that's
Good, mate. It's like a party atmosphere as Callum Walsh is starting to make his walk out here. Freddie Roach is obviously
Right, I'm going through to the lounge because my reception in the kitchen. My TV's not working in the kitchen. That's all I need. Get in there. Go. Go. In there. Jeez. This is the life of...
I've got King Callum Walsh walking to the ring now.
12th fight of Callum Walsh's career.
So his opponent's lost to Josh Kelly before. I was having a little look on BoxRec. He's also lost to... Who was the other one? Josh Kelly was definitely one. I can't remember the other guy, though.
I'm getting it up now.
So they've brought in a real test then, yeah?
Yeah, definitely. Big up Håkan Johansson for joining us, Håkan. Hope you're well and enjoying the fights in UFC Fight Pass.
Michael McKinson beat him as well.
Michael McKinson, Liam. That was the one. Saw that, Michael McKinson. So he's lost to two decent fighters. Luca said what channels? It's on TNT Sports in the UK, Luca. UFC Fight Pass worldwide, I believe.
So Josh Kelly knocked him down twice, and that was Josh Kelly's fight before he drew with Ray Robinson at MSG. So still when he was with Matchroom. And McKinson was during COVID time, so he was in Matchroom's back garden in that fight.
Yes, that's right. So they seem to be moving this Callum Walsh slowly enough, to be fair, but Dana's really backing him, isn't he? So Freddie Roach in the corner as well.
I don't know where that came from. I don't know where Dana got involved initially. I think
he's been with him a while, hasn't he?
Yeah, but I don't think there's any kind of mutual relationship that was in existence. I think he literally got shown a fight clip and then bam, became a fan. He's
obviously trying to seek out that Irish Conor McGregor style thing. He's only 23, Callum Walsh, so he's got he sold out the arena tonight as well. Look at the crowd.
It's rammed. Yeah, it looks absolutely packed.
Yeah, Hawkins just putting, obviously we can't play any sound, but Hawkins saying the atmosphere is absolutely insane.
You can see it now.
What's it called? It's his Irish homecoming because he's been in America, hasn't he? Since he's been with Dana.
Yeah, he's based in LA, I think, at the wild card, obviously, because of Roach.
California, apparently. So it's good to see him back home. 12th fight of his career. I think this is his third or fourth with Freddie Roach. So he's obviously well accustomed to how Freddie Roach wants him to fight, and their relationship's obviously building to something hopefully prosperous in the future. The thing that's interesting is there's a WBO America's belt on this, and Callum Walsh, okay, he's living out in America, but he is Irish through and through. So that's
it's strange. Didn't Bacoli get one for beating Jaron Anderson? That green belt he's got is actually, I think it's something like an NABF, but it's a W. It looks like a WBC belt, doesn't it?
There's always some trinket on the line.
They 3%. They do it, won't they? They just want the 3%.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I saw something in it. I might be wrong, but because I was watching something on Bacoli yesterday, and I'm pretty sure I think belt over his shoulder, taking some photographs on it, and I thought, that's strange. NABF or something like that, it said on it. What, we got 7 years in age difference. I mean, his record's decent. So the two losses are Josh Kelly and Mackinson.
It's a huge underdog.
Both on points. Josh Kelly dropped him 3 times. McKinson didn't drop him at all. So he has been down.
McKinson's not a big puncher, is he?
No, he's not.
It's Josh Kelly, to be fair. Josh Kelly's more
Josh
speed.
Kelly's not either.
It's more
I
speed.
have to agree with that more. Can the Irish get behind their own like no other, to be honest, even in Conor McGregor as well.
We do, Hawkan. I'm a Murphy, remember, as you can tell from my thick Southern Irish accent there.
J.O. Murphy.
Don't need no Owen or Murphy, mate. Find me another Irish name. I don't need much more. No, my mum's Irish. I'm obviously born and bred over here, but I'll take it. I've always got an island topper if they ever get through to World Cup again. I've always got one on standby.
Just in case.
Going back to Josh Kelly quickly.
Go
The
on.
interesting thing with Josh is when he fought this guy, it was before he'd had his draw, before he'd had his loss. So it's when he was still blitzing through people, when his career was.
Yeah.
So
Was the
there's
man
obviously
that
that as a
was-
caveat. Yeah. So
Yeah,
going back to what you just said about Coley, mate, he did win the North American heavyweight world title when he beat
There you
Barry
go.
Johnson.
There you go. I thought I'd got it. I thought I'd been mistaken,
Yeah.
but yeah, we're watching.
Prestigious belt. I think Walsh might win a points decision here. Any predictions from you boys?
I'd like
Well-
to see him try stop him, unlike the others have. Make a real statement because Dana's been bigging him up for a couple of years now, 18 months at least, and I've never really seen him step up as such. I know this is sort of a test as such, but I want to see him mixing it with some of the maybe domestic names over here. Maybe this is what they're going to do after this, and this is why they've done it so close to this big card in Dublin. Dana's over here, isn't he? So we might see him ringside tomorrow, maybe.
Never know, mate. I think I agree with you, mate. I'd like to see Walsh look for a stoppage here. He's obviously got an opponent in front of him that's had losses before, but he's now 4 and 7 years older than those 2 losses. So he's obviously a more mature fighter. You'd like to think he's probably tailing off in his career. Callum Walsh is on the rise. He's on the up. So if he's, it wouldn't be a bad thing to go to 10 rounds. He's not getting many rounds. He's blowing opponents away. But it would be a serious statement when you look at the company that his opponent's been in with if he was to get a stoppage tonight, wouldn't it?
Definitely. Hawkan said he's been to Ireland twice. Katie Taylor versus Chantel Cameron fights. Amazing atmosphere on both fights. They were incredible nights, both of them. Hawkan.
Nothing beats
amazing. I've been over there and seen fights, and Belfast sounds absolutely mental.
They get behind their own, the Irish. They do.
I'd love to do the SSE if they make Crocker and Donovan and that lands in Belfast. That might be.
Yeah, it's about 40-minute drive from my house. That is, but
is it?
No, about that, yeah.
Ooh, we might be taking a trip,
boys.
I'm gonna stay quiet about my thoughts on live boxing. I'm an old man when it comes to.
Here we go, boys. Got the referee. Fighters are just touch gloves.
I prefer watching it right where I am at the minute, sat in my living room.
Absolutely, mate. Right, anyway, Callum Walsh against Runowski. Let's go. First bell.
No, this swung right up there. He missed widely. Walsh is up on his toes straight away. He's looking for fast 1-2 by the look of things. There you go, look, blitzing him a bit. He's throwing with some venom straight off the bat, isn't he, Callum Walsh?
Yeah. Well, this is a big stage for Walsh. Dana White's over. He's pretty much looks like he's sold the best part of the 3 arena out here. So
yeah, it's a big night.
It's huge for him, and Frank and Francis Warren have waived TNT's rights to only show Queensbury cards so they could pick this up. So it shows they're trying to show him to a UK and Ireland audience tonight. So it's a big step for him. He's
probably an easy one to make with the UFC having the TNT Sports. Probably.
Hey, look at that! What a right hand. Sorry, boys.
You'd imagine it was probably an easy one to make. But you think he's been in Fight Pass for the last 3 years and they haven't done anything yet, so it's taken him to this point to get him.
No one knows who he is. If you don't watch UFC and UFC Fight Pass, nobody knows who he is.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Wobbled him a bit with the left hand there, did
he? He's wobbled him. Yeah, it looks like Mikel Kessler does Ronaldo.
It does actually, yeah. That's a good shout.
It's the haircut, isn't it? But Walsh seems to be catching him with the right hand. Runowski keeps dipping to his left, and Walsh can catch him because he's shorter than him. It's catching him straight on the button.
Yeah, Walsh is very
lovely body shot by Walsh.
He looks really good.
Into the bottom.
Runowski back there with a right. Oh, he caught Walsh then. So I think he's letting him know he's in a fight.
I don't think Runowski's going to come to lie down. If you noticed in the introductions, his corner were really, and it doesn't really say much, but his corner were really geeing him up, trying to back him. So, clearly got confidence in their man.
If you look at Walsh and his American, every single one of his sponsors is American companies apart from Riyadh season.
Yep.
So he's definitely, I think the American boxing market know him a lot more than the British fans. So I think if he makes
fights are shown on UFC Fight Pass, aren't they? So it's
it's not
Dane's done a bit of an American
the US market, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's fought in 5 different states in his last 5 fights. So he's been taken around America. He's been introduced to the different audiences and stuff. So yeah, he's definitely got the pull of Dana and the UFC behind him, which sounds weird to talk about with boxing, but here we are.
That uppercut
looks really loose, Jay. Callum Walsh.
Say again.
He looks really loose.
He does, doesn't he? He keeps throwing that uppercut to the body, the left, and he caught him, and I saw a reaction from Runowski. He's definitely feeling these shots. There. Did he just...
Yeah. Big up Adam Hurley for joining us. Crawford smashes Canelo and his fanboys' hearts at the end. Do you know what? I actually have played this back. I was listening to a show earlier. I can't even think. And I actually think Crawford has a chance against Canelo. I honestly do.
Oh, good right hand at the end of the round.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, he dipped a bit.
And if we're talking realistically, and he has to have a chance. He's one of the most elite fighters of his generation, and so is Canelo. I think the only issue for Crawford would be carrying excess weight, which would cause him to lose cardio quicker. And I think that's Canelo's chance. He's using his size advantage. But Crawford could beat Canelo 12-0 on points.
Yeah. Do you know what I'd do if I'm Crawford?
Look how Amir Khan were beating him 5-1 or something.
I was, yeah.
When he chinned Amir Khan. And Terence Crawford's 3 or 4 times better than Amir
Crawford
Khan.
should just weigh in at like 157 if it happened, 157, 158. Just accept that he's going to be naturally the small man. There's no point in bulking up to 168.
No, just enough. But he looked sluggish at 154, didn't he? That's what worries me.
Sorry, mate. That's what I was about to say. He did look sluggish against Madrimov, and if you then add in a bit more,
I think that's the only thing that will beat Crawford for me is somebody bigger than him, because he's beat everybody other than Jaron Ennis, and Jaron Ennis really is a downgrade for him. I know people will say he's scared and he's running. Crawford isn't scared of anybody. It's too risky a fight for him, because he could lose on points to someone like Jaron Ennis. He knows that. He's not stupid. He's not scared. He's just not daft. Why would you risk it?
I think the thing you've got to caveat Crawford with as well, he's come up from, started his career at 135, unified at 140, done the same at 147, now he's at 154. Yeah. Just the seismic, let's for a second appreciate
shot there, sorry, by Walsh.
Yeah, he's doing really well.
Just the cojones on him to actually say, yeah, all right, I'm actually going to make this step up to 168.
Yeah.
Be a huge step up for him.
Yeah, sorry, we cut off there from the Walsh fight because of that Crawford thing by Adam. But Hawkan agreed, 10-9 King Callum Walsh.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. He's not lost a minute for me yet. You know, it's a lot smaller.
He looks I think he'll be drawable. He'll be one of them, you know, who was it the other week? I know he got put away with a body shot in the end against Pacheco. You know, one of those holes that...
I forget his name.
What was his name again? Selecki,
yeah. I tell you what, though, I feel that he can wear him down and potentially start. There you go, look at that. Just as I said it, I've got a feeling. I didn't think he was going to do that yet, but I definitely felt he could stop him.
His body shots, mate.
Brilliant.
The body work that he's already paying dividends, and you can see Runowski isn't enjoying it.
Yeah, beautiful shot.
He's contesting the stoppage, but he went straight over backwards. It was a heavy fall, really, wasn't it? It was a solid overhand right. Caught him right beautiful on the butt.
So Jams, King Callum Walsh has just stopped him in the second round with a beautiful. It was a left at the end, wasn't it, Jay? That got him.
Was it a left or right?
Pandemonium.
It's the throwing beer.
I do think it was early, Jay. I'll be honest. I think it was slightly early.
Yeah,
I think it could have gone on. Definitely could have gone on. It definitely could have gone on. He's got away with one there, hasn't he?
I just think the ref could have at least let him. He was hurt, because when he tried to get back up. Jam and Hawkan just having a quick chat about the fight. But yeah, he just stopped him. Adam, just to answer your question quickly, we will be doing Munguia Bazinian. Yeah, we'll be live on here doing this, my man. Brendan's tuned in. Thank you very much for tuning in, Brendan. What's up from Philly? Big up in the United States. Massive thanks for tuning in. Huge fight announced for the Wells Fargo, November the 9th this evening. Obviously, Boots Ennis versus Karen, the rematch. And bam. Yeah, so that'll be good. He said, I think Canelo wins since he's young and naturally bigger, and the combinations will get Crawford. That's the logical thinking, I think, for that one, Brendan, absolutely. So Jams has said, cleaned him out in the second round, statement from the King. Yeah, absolutely. Callum Walsh looks a bit of a player, mate. He does, definitely. Hawkan said this. Boys, I want your opinion on Brendan's question. He's joining us all the way from Philly, so let's answer his questions. I'd like your take on it. Josh Kelly versus Ishmael Davis.
I'll let you go first, Joe.
I mean, initially when the fight was made, I'm not ashamed to say that I've gone complete full circle. I thought it was not a mismatch. I'm not going to say mismatch, but I thought that Ishmael Davis was a little bit too raw for somebody as slick and skillful as Josh Kelly. But then when I've gone back and watched some of Davis's fights, I've seen the interviews, I've thought about the fact that Kelly's boxing at 160 for the first time. Ishmael Davis was training for a fight. Yeah, it's 6 days notice, but he was still in fight camp, so he's in that kind of. I think it's going to be closer than anyone expected, and I'm probably going to go with my heart here, and I think I'm biased. I mean, they've both beat Troy, who I've got a lot of time for. He's a family friend, but I don't like Josh Kelly more than I like Ishmael Davis. But I think it's going to be a scrappy. I think Ishmael Davis is going to make it scrappy, and I think there's a chance he could win it. I can't say any more than that.
I mean, I'm similar to you. When this was announced last weekend, we said to each other, out of all the opponents that are being touted around for Josh, this was probably the softest touch you could give him without giving him too much trouble. But actually, I'm sitting here the night before the fight, and if Ish starts strong, makes it a tough, rough fight on the inside, I don't know if Josh Kelly's got the minerals for it. He's going to have to answer some questions tomorrow night.
Yeah, and you know, times he's been asked questions before, he's looked really vulnerable, hasn't he? And Ishmael Davis,
he can't afford to slip up tomorrow night, Josh Kelly. It's bust if he slips up tomorrow night.
I know this might sound like I'm being dramatic because it's not as though he's old or over the hill, but considering the furore and the pomp and ceremony when he turned over, if he loses tomorrow night, certainly if he loses badly, if he gets stopped early, for example, he will retire tomorrow. That's how serious I think it is for Josh Kelly. If he loses a scrappy points decision, maybe gets a cut and, loses scrappy, then
he can't have ambitions at world level if he loses.
Not if he loses. And we don't know how good Ishmael Davis is. He could go on to unify the middleweight division or super middleweight. We don't know that yet, do we? But based on the evidence we've seen, Josh Kelly really should win tomorrow night.
Yeah, definitely.
On the eye test. But I've got a funny feeling he's not gonna.
Yeah, Luke just kind of backed that up as well.
I think you're exactly right in terms of when Josh Kelly's been asked questions, he's looked for ways out, he's bitched and moaned, and then he's lost and drawn a fight. Against Ray Robinson, he was 4 or 5 rounds up, and you couldn't see Robinson landing a glove on him. And then he made it niggly, didn't he, at the start of the 5th round, and Josh was never the same for the rest of that fight, and he was holding on by the 10th round.
Don't like it. Listen, he beat Troy Williamson handily, didn't he? He outpointed him, but there were stages in that fight where he was complaining to the ref about him holding and touching the back of his head, and I thought, he just don't like a fight. He likes to box, and if it becomes a fight, he really struggles to get through it and push through. And I think that's where Ishmael can see the chink in the armor and maybe squeeze in there, and that's how he beats him, by making it dirty and rough and elbows and heads and all that kind of stuff.
I'm not confident enough to call Ishmael Davis winning the fight, but it's not as big a shock as we were saying at the start of the week if he does win the fight, is what I'll say.
Jans has asked Brendan about the Boots fight coming up, seeing as he's from Philadelphia. So it seems to be two, for me, easy enough fights for Boots and Bam, but obviously a great card to see them both together. Brendan, really appreciate this. Going to be a new subscriber after the stream. Big up, Brendan. Thanks very much, all the way from Philly. Jams has said PBK seems to have been stagnant for a while. He absolutely has. Never impressed me too much, and I think he's there for the taking for Ishmael Davis. Yeah, absolutely, man. Cannot wait for this card tomorrow. Now, obviously, the Walsh fight's finished now. He's doing his interviews, but we've got a few on, so we may as well just have a bit of back and forth about the upcoming fights tomorrow. Obviously, Munguia to come later in the night. I think that's going to be a war. We'll obviously have the play-by-play on that too. But yeah, obviously the Boots fight's been announced too. So
looking forward to that.
Yeah, looking forward to that. Obviously, Dana White is looking to make a play into boxing. He was promoting the show tonight, essentially. He wasn't directly. Tom Loeffler, I think, was the official promoter. Yeah. But we know Dana White's looking to make a bit of a play into boxing. Now, he said it again this week. He said it umpteen times over the years. But do you think he's serious this time?
Well, Zuffa Boxing's been parked but that company's in existence and has been for a long time. Dana's a boxing guy. That's where he came from. And he's always wanted to be involved in some way, shape or form. I think he's seen a gap in the market for him to potentially get in. And I think he sees Callum Walsh as he's sort of in. And then all he needs to do is start buying up fighters. He's probably got enough of his own money to be able to back it to a degree, without any kind of investment. So I think it's more of a hobby come a dream coming into reality, maybe, now that he's worth $500 million or whatever he's worth in his own right.
Yeah, I think for me, can we read too much into it? Riyadh Season and Turkey are talking about making a super fight league, similar to how the UFC's modelled. Dana, obviously, we know he's had Callum Walsh, but he's making himself active in the build-up to this fight, and he's there in Dublin tonight. Are we reading too much into it to put 2 and 2 together and think that Dana and Turkey are going to be joined together for this Turkey Fight League that's being touted for 2025?
Maybe that's what I'm saying. I could see Dana turning up ringside tomorrow night. And
he'll be there, 1,000,000%.
I'm telling you, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, he'll start posting, him and Eddie will start posting cryptic shit on their Instagram. They'll meet up in some Mayfair hotel probably. And within a week or so, we'll have an announcement that there's going to be either a cross-promotional card, like a Zuffa Matchroom or I've just got a funny. It's just too coincidental for Dana. Dana never really goes anywhere unless the UFC. He doesn't.
Yeah, it's kind of funny how he landed this fight on the Friday of the eve of the Joshua
in Dublin, fight. And he's come. Normally, he'll watch it in the war room and do a live video. He does that on most. He's not gone to Callum Walsh's fights when they've been in the US, let alone Dublin.
Let's make a few other similarities. Riyadh Season on Callum Walsh's fight kit. Riyadh Season advertisements at the start of every single round.
Yeah,
back of his shorts. He was front and centre. Biggest sponsor on his shorts, Riyadh Season.
I don't think I'm too far-fetched to say that this super fight league based on the UFC model is coming together. Turkey wants Dana involved in it. And that can only
sounds like it.
It can only be good for me for boxing.
Definitely. Jams, we're on SW Fight Hub for Munguia. Jay's Fight Talk tomorrow. Keep an eye on it. New show launch tomorrow. I'll be the first guest. #JFT Picks. I believe, Jay, do you want to explain to the people what the concept of the show is?
Yeah, so basically, us three are always sort of picking fights and giving our opinions, and I just thought for a bit of fun, I met my fights sort of solidified and public, but I'm going to have a guest on each week, and we're going to sort of pick against it, go up against each other basically, and we'll see who wins. It's just a bit of fun. So we're going to challenge each other. So tomorrow, me and Sam are going to go head to head.
So you're going to run like an overall record over time, are you then?
There'll be so we'll get points. It's still in its infancy, but I'm going to work out a point system, and then at the end of the boxing season, somebody will be the king of JFT fight picks.
Is that going to be live tomorrow, Jay, or a recorded show?
We're going to do it live, I think.
Going to do it live. Okay, good stuff. So, look out for that tomorrow. I think we'll be getting that out early afternoon at some point, Jam. So,
from 1 o'clock onwards, we'll probably be getting that out.
Yeah, Jam's asked the time. Yeah, so, sometime in the early afternoon as we build into the...
I'll try to give you an hour's notice, Jams. I'll message you tomorrow at some stage. I might be messaging you about them shirts anyway tomorrow. But, I will let you know. Everybody, I'll announce. I'll give everybody plenty of time to jump across, but it'd be great to see you all. Please feel free to interact. And as always, like, comment, share, and subscribe.
Yeah, make sure you get subbed up to Jay's Fight Talk as well. Absolutely. So Lucas said it's a good time to get into the US market. I think Eddie's shown how easily can make inroads, and it's huge room to create new stars in the US. Yeah, I mean, 100%. I'm fascinated to see how Dana White would because he constantly moans about the market of boxing and so on and so forth. He actually's been quoted a few times as to say that it's impossible to get into boxing. He goes, I've tried, but I just can't do it. It's bullshit. Whatever he says, he just. Yeah. I'm very fascinated. Eddie's done an incredible job. Brendan, you're right.
I think. Sorry, go on, Liam.
No, I agree. I do wonder how much Dana's involvement is going to be within America itself, and how much of it is going to be on the Saudi side of things. So these cards we see part of Riyadh season, these cards we see when Riyadh season's taken on the road. I wonder if his involvement's more going to be on that side as opposed to within America's, because of course UFC will always be his baby. That will be where the majority of his time and resources go. So I'm not sure if he's going to make a big play for the American market, but I can see him being a part of what's going on out in Saudi 100%.
Yeah, I think that the Saudis sort of disrupting the market has made sort of themselves to work together. But I think, whereas a year ago, Dana worked with anyone. He's never really worked with anyone other than the Mayweather fight for Conor, but they made that financially. They made it, he couldn't turn that down. He had no choice. Conor were going to do it either in breach of contract or
that was too much. The business was too good on that.
I think he's
Dana's 10%.
Turkey's big enough to buy up most of the shit that these guys might want to have an involvement with. I think they're just seeing now, look, forget the egos, let's work together and make money, because you couldn't have got Eddie and Frank at the same show 12 months ago. They wouldn't even.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a great point, Jay. I want to touch on that as well. So this Ben Shalom and Eddie, I know we're veering everywhere here, but we're kind of turning this into a news show. But we're here and we've got people with us, so let's just. Yeah, so Eddie Hearn and Ben Shalom were on the stage before the Tyler Denny Hamza Shiraz weigh-in yesterday. Having a conversation. You could tell it wasn't the most pleasant conversation. So Ben Shalom's jokingly said to Eddie Hearn, "What are you doing up here? You've got no fighters up here." Hearn said, "I'll knock you out," or whatever it is, and then it's been blown out of proportion. Ben Shalom's then saying to interviewers that Hearn threatened to chin me, and then Eddie Hearn saying that Ben Shalom's arsehole fell out, and he said, "What are you doing up here?" And they both claim they're now joking, but it's like Eddie and Frank they're trying to old man Ben Shalom this week.
They are, but Eddie's shown how petty he is, because yes, Ben did threaten to kill him, but they've now both said it was tongue in cheek. But then Eddie's gone as far as said, I think it was an IFL interview. He said it on Boxing Social as well. Well, hasn't Ben asked you to edit interviews? And the interviewee's like, I don't really want to say it. And he goes, well, I know 100%.
Yeah, that was IFL. That was the IFL guy. He goes, I don't want to. I can't. No comment or something.
Boxing Social as well.
Yeah,
he's done it on both. So it's obviously he's more pissed off than Ben Shalom, really. But it looks like he's more.
Hearn's raging. Hearn was raging.
Yeah, and I do think
it's all about Dalton Smith and Azim.
That's what's going to be my point. It's an interesting one, because the whole crux of Eddie's issue with Ben Shalom right now is the Adam Azim Dalton Smith fight not happening,
and all of the negotiate. That's what it is.
All of the stuff that's come from that, and some of the stuff we've seen, even Frank Warren getting involved in an IFL interview saying, Ben who? Sorry, who's Ben?
I know. Look, I can't warm to that. That's the bit that bothers me. See when they're
it's been horrible.
Mate, close your eyes. Close your eyes. You're on a school playground listening to.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Multi-million men. Ben Shalom's put out an Instagram post in the last 10 minutes, and the caption on that Instagram post is: first they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, then you win. So he's quoting Mahatma Gandhi in his post.
I'm not a fan of that from Ben Shalom.
He's playing to it as well. But at the end of the day, they are trying to roll man Ben this week. They're saying, "Oh, we've been here for years. Oh, look, you're finally getting involved with all this money and what we can do." Ben hasn't adhered himself to British boxing promoters or the British boxing fans, has he? He's done a few.
Fortunately for Ben, he doesn't have much personality. That's the.
I think I said it to you earlier on, right? Eddie Hearn did exactly the same as what Ben did. I know his dad had the brand already. I get that. But let's be honest, his dad's brand was on its ass, right? And Eddie Hearn came in, the son of the famous barrier, and he disrupted the market. He spun it around. He didn't give a shit about feelings, and he didn't give a shit about who he disrespected. And now he's at the point he is now. He's one of the big dogs, right? And he sees himself in Ben Shalom. But unfortunately for Ben Shalom, he's not that kind of guy, is he? He's got the personality of a breeze block. And he struggles. He's socially awkward. But he's good behind the scenes at negotiating.
He's definitely doing something right.
And I think yesterday, he just don't want to publicly negotiate. He's never, every single time his fighters have either a purse bid or negotiations, it's awkward. It's always awkward because
Luke has made a good point as well. Billy Nelson's been on this channel 3 times, and the first 2 times he said about that Boxer hadn't put a single social media post of Martin Bakole in, I think he said 8 or 9 months at one point, or they did 2, and obviously now since he was over in LA with the Anderson fight, and now Bacole's flavor of the month again, but pre that, like he hadn't.
I looked into this after hearing Billy say it, and before the Takam fight, he got 2 posts on Fight Week on Box's socials. After the fight, he got another 2, and then it took until about 3 weeks before the fight in LA for him to get any posts. Yeah, I completely agree with Billy. The lack of interest in Martin Bakole is baffling, and then to be all over him like a rash, like he's the best thing in the world when fights are happening, yeah, that's fine. But you build a relationship with a fighter over time. They're not just there at your convenience close to a fight. You build a relationship.
He's not a boxing guy, though, is he? He's not a boxing guy. He's still learning on the job. He don't know, and he's makes a lot of mistakes. And I think Eddie Hearn takes great pleasure in highlighting them.
Of course he does.
Do you know what I'm saying?
He's a competition, so he's going to put him down as much as he can, because he ultimately will be threatened by him at some point.
Yeah, he has to be. It has to be. I mean, he got the Sky deal, and but Eddie left Sky to rot. Let's be true. He left Sky to rot, and they haven't rotted. I know they're not rivaling the likes of DAZN yet, but they've still had some decent.
They've just got different business strategy now. Sky, they're only really interested in big fights, and they'll put stocks on and stuff, but.
I felt a little bit sorry for Ben today. I just felt like I was watching someone get picked on. Like a kid in the playground getting isolated and sort of poked and laughed at, whispering and shit like that. But he's a big boy. He's getting well paid. He's well compensated for feeling like a bit of a goofball for a couple of nights.
That's been the vibe for weeks, right? Ben Shalom has felt like the outsider massively, and anytime he tried to get close with the big boys, they've just tried to knock him down and knock him away. And it's, by today, it's uncomfortable. On Tuesday, part of the rhetoric of the week, but now we're sitting here on Friday, and it's actually a bit uncomfortable. And it's
just too much, man. If Eddie Hearn had said that stuff about the IFL stuff, editing the interviews, because there was no need for that. That would just been horrible when there were not, just bullying, like I said, it does.
School playground stuff, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I just saw a side to him there that I didn't like, and because Ben seems, a genuinely nice guy. He does have subtle passive-aggressive digs, doesn't he? But Eddie's more brash and will just call you a prick if he thinks you're a prick, whereas Ben won't really.
Ben's not. Not controversial. What am I saying? Confrontational. Yeah, he's not at all. He doesn't like that.
He's passive, isn't he? You take it all onto him as opposed to offloading it on himself.
But it works for him to a degree. I mean, I've warmed to him. As I said, I know I took piss out of him and said he had the personality of a breeze block. I just mean he's not. He's an introverted kind of guy, isn't he? That's what it seems like. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Not everyone can be like Eddie. Ultimately.
Where Eddie likes to be the life and soul. Look at when he was in, where was it the other week? LA, and he looked like he'd come out in his wife's silk pajamas.
Oh yeah,
and he loves that. He loves that. He loves people pulling him on his shit. That's why he wears it.
Before we sign out, boys, one of you can look at this question. Kakachi Warrington tape for our new subscriber, Brendan.
I'll let you go first, Liam. I am shut up,
mate. No,
we love you, Jay's Fight Talk.
Can't get a word in. No, but it's all good, mate. For me, this fight has been lost some of its meaning because of the IBF belt being taken off of it. Yeah. But then you look at this week and the build-up from the fighters, and then you look at them at the weigh-in today, and this can't not be, bar the main event, fight of the night for me. Anto Kakachi's just become a world champion. Does that mean he now doesn't care anymore and he just wants to, have another fight and see what happens? Josh Warrington, people are saying, he's won 3-1 in his last 5 fights. What's he doing getting a fight like this? His career's done. He shouldn't even be fighting. He's got a point to prove. He's bringing more than 10K fans down from Leeds. And for my prediction this weekend, I picked Josh Warrington as my upset of the weekend. And I stand by.
I hear that. You've said that a couple of times. You were adamant, yeah.
He looked good on the scales, and for me, like we said, Liam and Anto looked drawn. Jams and neutral are on Josh Warrington as well.
It's gonna be a niggly fight. There'll be headbutts, there'll be cuts, there'll be stern talking tos from the referee. They're both gonna have to go to the well. But I'm telling you for a fact, you could put a phone box over Kakachi and Warrington tomorrow night, and they ain't moving out of it. Yes, the IBO belt, woohoo, get in there, is still on the line for this fight. But it's
World
gonna be
Championship boxing.
You'll have to get it back off this Eubank.
And he's going to be taking his 5% home with him, old Dev, tomorrow night. He's all over the champ, isn't he?
Yeah.
But going back to Brendan's question, this is a sleeper fight on the card. Just because it's a lower weight, we've got a lot of casuals interested in this. They go, this fight isn't going to be up to much. But let us free tell you, and the people in the comments, it's boxing hardcore.
It's fight of the night. It'll be fight of the night. It will be.
Very good.
I'll throw a spanner in the works then. I've got a nasty feeling that Warrington's going to get caught like he did with Lara. And it's just going to be him hanging, not getting battered, but just trying to not get stopped.
Well, yeah, I can see that. My opinion, it's more like the Lee Wood fight. I think Warrington will get on top early. I do think that, and I think Anto will stop him late.
It's an interesting.
Yeah, I don't think Anto's like you guys say. I saw what you saw, but I just think he's not waterloaded yet. I'm waiting a bit, and they might be playing my games to make him think that he's struggling. And he's not going to listen. You are going to have to nail Kakachi to the floor. That is his dream, and he literally got it 2 minutes ago. Because let's be honest, he only fought Cordina how long ago? What, 3-4 months?
May Fury Usyk.
All right, take the notice of me then. A while ago. It's not that long ago. It's not been champ.
4 months. It's a fairly quick turnaround.
Yeah, it's fairly quick.
Just going back to his last comment. So, where he mentioned about Kakachi's power, I agree. If you saw his last fight, he's got incredible power. He stopped Joe Cordina. That's the point I made earlier in the week. Yeah, Warrington hits hard, but it's Kakachi's first stoppage since 2015. That was. It's not like he's a proper brawler that's knocking people out left, right, and centre. That's his first stoppage since 2015. Okay, he's had lots of injuries. Okay, we haven't seen him at 100% often enough in his career. But this rhetoric that Anthony Kakachi is a well-destroying puncher isn't the case. He's only done it in his last fight.
Back you up there. I agree. The problem, and I'm not. I am counter arguing you, I guess, in a sense. But Anto, I know for a fact from speaking to many people close to him. I know a few mutual people for him. He's been injured for years. He hasn't been fit for years. He's had trouble out. He finally got everything together and got it right on the Joe Cordina fight. Is he going to be able to continue and capitalize on that, or is he going to revert back to what it was before? We'll find out very early doors, I think, mate, tomorrow.
Mate, absolutely, and that's what makes it fascinating. And don't get me wrong, I'm taking nothing away from Kakachi. That was his moment on the Fury Usyk undercard. He ultimately, bar the main event, stole the show, didn't he, with that story? Yeah. But I'm hearing it a lot from outlets this week that Kakachi's got world-beating power. Let's just rein it in a bit and realise that before this, it was 2015. Yes, he's had injuries. Yes, he's fought not 100%. He can crack. Yes, but it's not world-beating power until we see it a few more times. If he knocks out Warrington and then in his next fight knocks out, say he fights Sugar Nunes and manages to knock out Sugar Nunes, then yes, Anthony Kakachi is an absolute banger. But let's just rein it in until we see a bit more of it.
Yeah, definitely. Jay's Fight Talk's back with us now. Before we sign out, boys, I want to ask you a couple of questions, and please get involved in the comments, those that are with us. I know Jams and Brendan are still interacting, so big up, guys. He asked about Lee Wood. For me, Lee Wood's more dangerous than Kakachi. I think Wood's power carries so late as well. He's a lot better. Wood's got the kiss of death as well.
Yeah,
Wood's got the kiss of death.
Kakachi's very good, but he's very predictable in what he does. So, and I don't mean that in saying he's basic, but he's just a lot more readable. Whereas Lee Wood has got a lot more perpetual movement, and he catches weird angles, and you can't read what he's really reading. Because Josh Warrington fought, and then bam, he changed his style up a little bit. Kakachi does
Wood's
the
got
same
the
thing.
kiss of death. One punch, Lee Wood can switch your lights out. That's the difference for me.
Yeah, I think Kakachi's power does go with his cardio, whereas Lee Wood seems to carry it a bit like Wilder, right all the way through.
Look at Lee Wood against Michael Conlan and against Kanju, both 12th round stoppages.
And it's the link up with Ben Davidson. It's the link. We're talking about that Ben Davidson gym again, like we've done with
John.
What they do with their fighters and the way they're progressing careers and changing fighters around, they've done it with Lee Wood, and he is now, for me, probably. We haven't seen him, unfortunately, active enough this year, but he's in the top 5 in Britain for sure. That I don't
think Sugar Nunes will clean Lee Wood out. He might beat him, but I don't think he cleans him out.
I think he's talking about Warrington and Kakachi.
Oh, I thought he was talking about Lee Wood.
That's a fight, Lee Wood, Sugar Nunes.
Kakachi would give him a scrap, but and Warrington.
I think Sugar would batter Kakachi, I think.
Well, we're being it on his last couple of fights, I think, really. He's had a couple of tough fights. I mean,
let's see how he looks tomorrow. Let's see how he looks against Josh.
Next week.
Woods A+. We'll watch the Warrington fight. Josh is having his way. Yeah, to be fair, like he was playing pinball with Warrington's head. I don't think it was a bad stoppage at all. I think too much is made out of that.
The way he fell.
A bad stoppage.
The way he fell.
Yeah.
He fell
he
like
got up and he was wobbling everywhere.
Yeah, it felt like
I really don't know why it's made out to be a bad stoppage. That. Oh, Jay Fight Talk's dead.
Oh, I'm having a nightmare tonight, mate. I'm having my dog flip my phone round. Lights turn off.
All right, I'm going to ask you both a question each, and those that are with us in the comments, feel free, and I'll pull yours up on the screen. I want to know what is your fight of the night. I want to know what your prediction is for the upset of the night. And what other question do I want to know? Let's go fight of the night and upset of the night.
My fight of the night is going to be Tyler Denny, Hamza Shiraz. I think Tyler Denny is going to shock a lot of people. I think it's going to be a lot closer than anybody's expected. And my upset of the night is going to be Daniel Dubois stopping Anthony Joshua in the 3rd round.
Fight Talk. He doesn't mince him, does he, this boy?
I've just ruined my prediction show.
No doubt you'll be saying Joshua stops him in 4 by this time tomorrow.
Changing it around. For me, my fight of the night will be Buatsi and Hutchinson. I think with the needle we've seen in the build-up, I just think that's going to catch fire tomorrow night.
I hope so, because that has potential to be an absolute stinker, and I don't want to.
I don't think it will be. I think Hutchinson's mouth, he's cashing checks that his fists aren't going to be able to.
I don't believe that he's as good as he thinks he is. Buatsi is world class, and I don't think Hutchinson's quite there yet.
No. And my upset of the night. Well, I've said it all week. It's on my show. You boys know. I think Josh Warrington is going to get a razor-thin decision against Anthony.
And he will be the new
IBO
International Boxing Organisation champion. Back to Ellen Road with his belt at halftime.
Mate, when you win that belt, you can go clubbing with Eubank Genius. If you win the belt,
stuff of dreams, mate. We could only dream.
We've got some comments coming in for picks. Upset of the night is Ishmael Davis to beat Josh Kelly. Fight of the night.
That would not be an upset for me, boys. So I couldn't pick that one.
It is with Kakachi Warrington comments flying in. That's my fight of the night too. From
can't not be a good fight. That can't not be a good fight. It's Big Willie now, Luca.
Big Willie.
Mate.
Why is Buatsi world class? Do you know what? I agree with that, Luca. We all say he's world class, but he actually hasn't shown it yet. He hasn't. He's world class in the amateurs. He's got potential to be world class, but has he shown us he's world class yet?
No. So I will probably wrong in that statement. I'm basing that on my opinion more than fact.
No, his potential is there to be world class, definitely.
Yeah, and I'm just basing it on what I've seen in terms of his boxing skill. I think he lowers himself to his opponent's level, and I think we'll see a different Buatsi tomorrow. I think he might stop Hutchinson tomorrow night. I think he might stop him.
Sorry, Liam, I was going to say, just to give my 2 pence, so I'm not sitting on the fence. I've obviously picked Kakachi Warrington to be fighting tonight. I've actually got all the favourites winning. But if I was going to pick an upset,
I've got sitting on the fence. He says,
no. But if I was going to pick an upset out of them all, I think AJ stops Dubois late. I think, but if I was going to pick an upset out of all of the underdogs, I'd be picking Daniel Dubois to beat Joshua as well.
That's fine.
That main event is a firefight. I can see AJ getting knocked down and having to get.
You heard it here first. Round 3. You heard it here first. Round 3. Dubois is gonna flip AJ on his back. I'm telling you, I've got faith in Don Charles and the team.
Yeah, that is a massive thing.
Listen, if I'd want anybody in my corner as a heavyweight,
that man knows heavyweight boxing, man.
I know it's a world title fight. I know it's a world title fight, and blah blah blah. It's a domestic fight, really, isn't it, for us?
Yeah.
And Don Charles has fought them all, or been involved in fights on every level in the British heavyweight scene. And I'd want him because he knows what to do when it gets, because it might get. It might not be a 3rd round knockout, but if it doesn't go early, that it's going to be a dogfight. And Don Charles knows how to get that last little bit. Look what he's done with Chisora.
You're right. You're completely right, because I watched an interview with Shane McGuigan, who trained Daniel Dubois for 2 years, and he exactly said what you just said, Jay. He was like, look, early, all the advantages with Anthony Joshua, the speed. Yeah. Daniel's a bit of a slow starter, essentially. If Dubois can drag this fight into the later rounds, it all swings back to Dubois.
I'm telling you now, as much as we say, people, not me, but people said he was a quitter, he didn't have any bottle, right? I think he's got that dog in him when he's proven it recently.
He's proved it in his last 2 fights.
We have yet to see that from Josh. I know he got knocked down by Klitschko and he got up, but that was different. When he boxed Ruiz and he really thought he was going to get knocked out, he spat and he didn't spit his gum shield out, but metaphorically, he did.
No, mate, he did spit his gum shield out. That's why the ref ended up stopping it in the 7th.
So could you imagine? Can you imagine a scenario tomorrow where he's expecting to walk through? He's expecting to walk through Dubois, similar to what he did to Ngannou. Totally different fighters, I get that, but very similar in a lot of ways. Big, methodical, long jab. I think he's expecting to catch him over the top with that bombing right hand and knock him down. Imagine if he hits him with that, he doesn't go down, and 2 minutes later, he's in a corner standing up with a fuzzy head. I think he'll spew if it comes to that. And that's why I'm picking Dubois.
I think we'll get a cagey opening few rounds. I think it'll be cagey for 2 or 3 rounds, and then I think it'll start to pick up from there.
Yeah, mate, it can't not deliver. And everything you just said about Don Charles, if you want to know anything about heavyweight boxing in the last 15 years or so, Don Charles is the man that has worked with fighters, has got more out of fighters when they seem like they don't have a chance, has revolutionized careers of heavyweights more than anyone else. And he'll have a...
Flu, plenty 6, mate. I've got plenty for you. Get them down here tonight, son. We need you tomorrow. We need you.
We'll have a plan. We'll have a plan A, B, C, and D for Dubois. Thank you, Jay.
Honestly, I'm super pumped for that fight now. I think,
mate, we will have multiple plans for him, and it won't just be a fact of right. Plan A is not working. What are we going to do?
Have you seen Kieran Farrell on the pads? Have you seen Kieran Farrell? Watch tomorrow night when Dubois comes out on his toes.
Yeah, he's exceptional. And Kieran, we were saying during the week, Kieran Farrell starting to step up, didn't we?
He's given him that. Kieran Farrell's, have you noticed though, it seems to have coincided him being a little bit more outward with his expressing himself. And I know he's gone too far sometimes and said stupid stuff, but we get what he was trying to do. You know, when he started on Joshua at the face-off, it was awful. I felt embarrassed for him. I felt second-hand embarrassment because he picked on a moment that didn't deserve the action, but he got the desired effect. He wanted Joshua to react so that he could prove, I'm not scared of you, I'm not scared of you. It was childish, really, but he got what he wanted. But we've seen that since Kieran's joined the camp, and he's really loud and brash.
Yeah. He only came in for the Hrgovic fight. And
his gyms are very loud and music, and whereas Don Charles he's more like a professor. He studies, he'll stand and spars are quiet. Yeah, spit and sawdust. It's an old school feel. And he's brought something different. Whereas Joshua, I know he's changed trainer as such, but he's bounced around a lot as well. Joshua, hasn't he? He's bounced around a hell of a lot, and I'm hoping tomorrow he doesn't forget who he is and not box to the Joshua that we all know.
Jay, it's a great point. It's a great point, mate, because a lot's made of this Joshua and Ben Davison relationship, which on the outset looks like Joshua's punching through the target more, looks like he's more up for it and stuff like that. But however, Otto Wallin and Francis Ngannou were the two fights he's had with Ben Davison. Now, don't get me wrong, Otto Wallin came off a good win over Gassiev and he gave Fury hell when Fury wasn't up for it. We know Fury can get like that sometimes. And the Ngannou fight was what it was. You know, really, we're basing Ngannou and Wallin off performances against Tyson Fury, who couldn't be arsed. That's not Wallin and Ngannou's fault that they fought the Fury that was in front of them. But we know what Fury's like when he's on it, and he wasn't on it against Wallin or Ngannou. So really, this is a test of this whole AJ's different under Ben Davison because he's fighting this real live opponent for me in that relationship.
If we go on the flip side of that coin, it's Daniel Dubois. He's joined Don Charles. He's fought Usyk. Okay, he lost against Usyk, but we could see a few improvements in that. But Usyk is just on another level. He's beat Big Baby Miller and he's beat Hrgovic. Okay, there's certain caliber of heavyweights, but he's been asked more questions, has to show more about himself, and had to overcome more adversity in those 3 fights than AJ has in any of his.
Yeah, man, the form for Dubois. Form for Daniel Dubois.
The last time Joshua got asked questions, he swallowed. Ruiz is the last person really to ask him any real questions. Whereas Dubois has boxed Usyk and got stopped. I think he had a legitimate knockdown in that fight. So he takes something from that. He beat Hrgovic. Yes, he was getting pop-shotted, but he took it. He sucked it up and eventually got the stoppage via the cut, didn't he?
He couldn't have had a better lead up to this fight, Daniel Dubois. He could not have asked for a better last couple of fights.
No.
He couldn't.
Great preparation.
The confidence he will have taken in himself to get Baby Miller out there in the last 15 seconds of the fight, to stop Hrgovic after his head was a bit of a pinball for the first 2.5, 3 rounds. It says a lot about him because the people that were saying he was a quitter after the Joe Joyce fight, where his eye bone was smashed to pieces, he's turned them all around. Because if he was a quitter, he would have, maybe not against Miller, he would have won that on points. But against Hrgovic, if he was a quitter, he would have spewed it. 100%. Completely agree with that.
Yeah, I agree. Usyk won by a boxing and footwork. Ruiz won by winning the combination exchange.
Yeah, Ruiz won because Joshua got complacent when he knocked him down, and then that temple shot, he never recovered from it in the exchange. You bang on with that, Brendan. Absolutely.
He won because Mystic Murphy said he would lose in round 7.
You're the only man in the world who picked Ruiz to win that night, were you?
I think
so.
He did knock the PEDs out of Hellenius too, and that was when he was fighting all cautiously. And then obviously he had the Jermaine Franklin fight in Hellenius with Derek James, and he was trying to box completely against.
Instead of being a puncher, wasn't he? He was trying to show he could box on his toes for 12 rounds.
Yeah, it was Jams. Yeah, he was with Derek James still for that fight.
That's what I'm saying. Joshua's had an inconsistent last couple of years, whereas Dubois has been pretty consistent the last couple of years, hasn't he? He's been steady away in terms of his camp and his life. He lives at home, I'm sure, doesn't he, with his dad still. But he's been pretty consistent, whereas Joshua's changed everything. Everything over the last couple of years in terms of his camp has changed completely.
I want to get this in about AJ just while we're talking, because we just were at Derek James. After he split from Angel Fernandez, didn't he, after the Usyk 2 rematch, spent ages scouting for a new trainer, moved to Derek James, set himself out in Texas for 2 training camps and looked like he was dedicated to that cause. The Wallin fight came around too late notice to get out of Texas. So Ben Davidson was meant to be a one-fight deal just to get him training through that fight in December before he went back out to Derek James this year. Nothing wrong with the fact he stayed with Ben Davidson at all. But
not his first choice.
Remember, Ben Davidson said, I'll train you because you have 5 weeks to go out to Texas, get used to that time zone. To go to Saudi isn't going to work. So that's fine. Yeah. But yeah, he seemed committed to the Derek James cause. And
So Ben Davidson's not even his first choice.
Well, yeah, that is essentially. AJ wasn't right. Jams, if you're talking about the night at MSG, it's an after. I did think it at the time, and it's easy to say as an aftertime. Oh yeah, AJ wasn't right. That's why he got stopped. But yeah, something wasn't right that night. He looks.
I wonder will that ever come out?
No.
Yeah.
Brendan, thanks for tuning in, my man. We'll catch you soon.
I brought I did the William Hill voodoo on him, mate. That's what happened to Joshua. Round 7 going down. Telling you, round 3 tomorrow, lads.
How many
Sunday
times
morning watch.
did you hit the Voodoo dough that night, mate? How many times? About 5 hours?
Yeah,
I'm
we'll.
excited for it, man. If this isn't an absolutely fantastic card, I will be so disappointed.
This is Christmas Eve to any hardcore
Any
boxing
boxing
fan.
fan. And then we've only got a couple of weeks to wait, really. There's not that long to go till we've got another stacked card in Beterbiev and Bivol.
Mate, I can just about contain myself for tomorrow. If you bring the 12th of October, I might spontaneously combust them. It's just,
absolutely. But no, we'll leave it there. Big up Liam Tully and big up Jay's Fight Talk for joining me. Sorry, as always. We'll be back in probably approximately 5 hours time for Jaime Munguia. Oh, Jabbit Boxing's just joined us. Maybe we'll stay on for. We'll do an hour. We'll do another 5 minutes. Why not? Jams have popped something up. AJ kept asking the corner, what round is it? What happened? Yeah. Was that after he was concussed from Ruiz? Or?
Yeah, I think.
What's that? AJ kept asking the corner, what round is it? He didn't know where he was after the first knockdown.
After the third round. After the end of the third
it was a temple, though, wasn't it? He just got temple shotted.
But when you're asking,
but it completely threw him out, didn't he? He didn't know what was going on. He just kept asking, like, what round is it? What's going on? Did I win that? He was really, really flustered he's just not used to it.
Mm-hmm.
Just not used to it. I think when Klitschko knocked him down, he cleared his head pretty quick. And I think when Dillian White hurt him,
he was in New York, he was in a different setting.
That's what I mean. It was alien to him. Wasn't that his first fight abroad?
Yeah, he'd never fought outside the UK, had he, before that?
That was
and
the
then
big.
he changed his opponent last minute, and you know what I mean? So, yeah, I expect that to happen to him again tomorrow night. Except this time he'll go, yes, ref, no mass, I've had enough. Dan is the man. That's what he'll say tomorrow.
Jay's
and then he'll come on his pulled on Tuesday and apologise to me.
Are we getting an official AJ quit prediction from Jay's Fight Talk?
He won't need to, mate. I think Dubois will. I can picture him on a knee, just not making 10, wobbling all over, trying to put his gut like Tyson, Buster Douglas, trying to put his gum shield back in. Yeah. There
you go. Big up Jabbit Boxing. Shane Mosley said the same about Manny. He didn't have a clue, likely concussed, maybe. Yeah. We've seen it millions of times over the years, haven't we, as well? To be fair, Tyson Fury against Dusik.
I was just about to say Fury.
Happy New Year and all that.
He won the fight because of the war that's going on in this country right now.
Yeah.
I don't actually think that was concussion. I think Tyson Fury in his head actually believes that kind of shit. I think he thought, if it goes to points, if there's a war in Ukraine, someone will have said it to him in his camp. You can't let it go to points. If you do, they'll give him it. He's Ukrainian.
Yeah, it could have just been stuck in his head.
That was all John Fury. He knows his dad.
Oh God, John, don't get me started on it. Goodness.
But no, we'll wrap it up there, boys. We'll give ourselves a bit of rest before this Jaime Munguia Eric Brazilian card to catch us. Same place, probably in about 5 hours' time from now. This fight should be an absolute war. Jaime Munguia against Eric Brazilian, I'm telling you. Brazilian's something like 34-0-1, one draw on the record. Hasn't fought the level of Munguia, but we know what Munguia does, and he's going to be there to hit, so he's going to take plenty of shots in the fight. I'm expecting Munguia maybe to get it done later on points, but I think he maybe have to come through some sketchy moments. It's a good first fight with Top Rank.
Yeah, we're gonna see how much he's been affected by losing to Canelo and that highly record he had. If it's smashed him about badly and him splitting from Golden Boy and Oscar,
lots of money in the bank.
He could be in all sorts of trouble tonight.
Yeah, he'll get over it, won't he? Tomorrow, sat in his flipping hot tub in his Ferrari, regardless of the result tonight. But it's going to be interesting to see where he's at. He might be a completely different fighter tonight. With a renewed, he might call
new
out.
Training team as well. New training team, new promoter. Everything's new for Munguia.
Yeah, man, everything's it's Jaime Munguia 2.0. So he says, "Thank you, Jams, for the comment, mate. We'll see you in the early hours for Munguia, mate. Thanks for tuning in as always."
It's good to see Munguia in proper fights, without being disrespectful to all of his opponents. But
I like it.
I reckon 50 to 60% of the people that he's boxed, maybe even 70%, are not to the level of the fanfare that he got when he turned over. It was about 12-0 when he turned over in reality, but I think he was about 60-0, wasn't he, when Oscar first brought him over?
I mean,
not
Oscar,
that I'm being pedantic, but yeah, he certainly was in the 30s, wasn't he? He'd had 30-odd fights or something by the time we got.
Liam Smith was his 32nd fight.
Yeah,
So
well,
there you
go then. There you go then. Yeah.
He's not even 30 yet, is he, Mungia?
I think he's just not sure. I think he might
maybe.
He's not. But anyway, yeah, we'll be on the watch along for that. Keep an eye out. Obviously, huge day ahead tomorrow. We've got the debut of hashtag JFT pick. Should I say I'll be the first guest over on Jay's Fight Talk. Unfortunately, no Liam Tully for the AJ watch along. We don't know his movements just yet, but go and give him a follow on X.
Afterwards, I found out. I'll tell you.
Okay. We'll find that out. At Liam_Tully9, should I say, and at Jay's Fight Talk, obviously on X. And we shall see you in a few hours.